J Drone here, and this is my ice blue Aosenma. And how should you be flying this? Well, if you see me, I'm in the middle of nowhere. So many people have issues with this drone, and they're flying in congested areas, they're flying in highly residential areas. As you can see, all my lights are off. I've let this sit here for quite some time. Number on mine is 1. Coincidentally, my first Aosenma was numbered 1. I still have it. I've had one motor failure, not even a motor failure. I didn't do a pre-flight check. I didn't check my motor screws, and it came crashing down where I had to replace the shell, and I also had to replace the motor. I didn't have to replace the motor, but I put another motor in. That way I didn't have to resolder or anything. But we're going to take this for a flight. We're going to show you the capabilities of the Aosenma when you fly it correctly in correct area. If you look in your instruction manual, it says to fly in a wide open area. There is a reason for that. If you were and as you can see, altitude hold and GPS lock works. If you were able to see all the radio waves that are bouncing around in air, you probably wouldn't be able to see 2 feet past your face. Think about it. All the Wi-Fi signals traveling, all the radio channel signals traveling, all the CB channels traveling. I'm sure there's a your wireless devices in your house, your wireless telephone, your baby monitors, they all operate off radio frequencies. So if you're flying in a highly congested radio frequency area, i.e. a large residential neighborhood in the city, there's a good possibility your drone's not going to act right. If you're flying in an area like I am, just off the outer limits of a small town, basically no real radio signals around here. I'm sure there's a couple streaming through this field. You should be okay, and you should not encounter any type of problems. When you decide to fly over large pieces of metal, decide to fly where there's huge magnetic pulls, you're gonna have issues. The Aosenma flies great. Again, I've had one issue with this one. I have 2 of them myself. I have my monster Aosenma that carries a Walkera gimbal and GoPro, and this one that I just generally go by stock setup that I've painted blue. I get excellent range on this. I get excellent range. My flight times vary. They vary on wind, they vary on how fast I'm flying, how high I'm flying. I generally average a 9 to 15 minute flight time with this Aosenma, which I'm happy with. I'm really happy with that. I've taken this inside buildings where you really shouldn't fly because you can have adverse effects, but I've taken it inside buildings, I've taken it over buildings because I do the whole abandon thing. And I've had no issues with this besides my one motor flop out because I didn't do my pre-flight check. Every time I go out and make sure those motor screws are tight, I jiggle the motors just a little to make sure they're not jiggling and to make sure they're actually stuck fast in the arms, because if they were to jiggle, that would tell me something. I have a loose screw. I always just do a little hand check on the propellers, and then I do a visual inspection. I do a visual inspection of the drone, make sure nothing's cracked, make sure nothing's broken, make sure it looks fully intact. And as you can see, guys, I'm up in altitude. This thing has 0 issues climbing. It has 0 issues getting epic range. It's all in all a nice flyer. This used to be my 100% first favorite drone. The Bugs is creeping in. Bugs 3 is creeping in on this drone just because I really don't use the Aosenma for its features. It has tons of features: return home, follow me, fixed point circling, GPS, and whatnot. I'm more of a flyer. I'm more of a fly by sight. I fly it up high. I get excellent aerial footage and whatnot. And the Bugs is essentially this, a little bit more lightweight without all the features, and I'm using this with all the features. So a lightweight version of this would be the Bugs 3, and it seems to be a little bit quicker. I don't know the motors, what motors each of them are using, but just because of the weight differential in there, you have your GPS hold not doing anything, it's just sitting there. It is bouncing up and down just a little bit, but this isn't a Phantom. You pay half, less than half, so you could expect the features not to be as great, but as I'm showing you here, they're pretty great. All in all, love this drone, especially my one that I painted blue here, just because of the look of it, and give you a really good look at it underneath. There's a little rotation for you. I'm gonna take it up a little bit. So guys, if you're having issues with your Aosenmas, ask yourself, did you do a pre-flight check? Did you check those screws? Did you check your motors? Did you check your propellers? Did you check the body itself? Have you traveled a long distance? Do you need to recalibrate it? Are you in a highly congested radio frequency area? If you've not done any of that, if you decide you want to fly in a residential area and you crash and you fall, or the drone is flying around high metal, you're in a high magnetic draw area and the drone's not flying right, don't blame it on the drone. It's pilot error then. If you take your precautions with this, you'll have zero issues. Obviously, as you fly a drone and you fly it 20 to 50 times, things are going to wear, especially depending on how you flew it. It's just like a car. You drive a car erratically and you make sharp turns and you make fast mile per hour to quick stops. You're going to have to change stuff. You're going to have to maintenance it. Drones are the same way. If you decide to fly this drone at its rated 40 mile an hour all the time and push it, you're going to have to maintenance it. You're probably going to have to change your ESCs, your electronic speed controls. You're probably going to have to change some motors. The board itself really shouldn't be affected. If you crash it, you're going to have to change stuff. If you baby these drones, this drone is built, it's built for speed, but with all the features, it's built to be a camera drone. If you treat this drone like a camera drone, kind of cruise around, basically like how the West Coast people treat lowriders. They ride them low and slow. If you treat this like a lowrider where you're kind of just flying it, cruising nice and slow, chilling, you're not going to have any problems, especially if you're out in the proper area. I love this drone. People hate this drone. People love to hate this drone. People hate this drone, learn how to fly it, and then love this drone. This drone is one of the most tossed up drones that I've seen, just because of how many features are on it. There's no app tied to it. It is a highly mechanical drone where you have toggle switches that you can't visually see what it's doing, like a Phantom, and if you don't understand it, you're gonna hate it. If you crash it, rebuild it, then understand it, you're gonna love it. If you don't fly this, you get it and decide, bam, I'm going to learn everything I can about this drone. I'm going to fly it in the right area. Bet money, you're going to love it. If you order from China, directly from China, Banggood, GearBest, there's a possibility you're going to get a crap drone in. They don't do quality checks. If you really want an Aosenma, go on Drone Days. Link will be at the bottom. Contact me. I got a bunch of them. I do the quality checks before I send them. I make sure battery connectivity is good, battery connectivity to the drone's good, the controller binds to the drone, I check the motors, I make sure the GPS lights blink on the controller and on the drone because it is dual GPS. I make sure the quality checks are done, that way you're getting a good drone. After that, it's in your hands, ball's in your court. If you decide you want to learn about the drone, you want to check it out, you want to do everything you're supposed to, you're going to have a nice drone. But alright guys, I'm J Drone. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you have the Aosenma, learn your Aosenma. It will be good to you if you're good to it. Take care.